The Law Be With You podcast show, also known as Christian Fandom Geek on YouTube, is now part of the Red 5 network. Red 5 is a network of podcast shows aimed at bringing great quality content, especially Star Wars. And so look forward to some awesome collaborations on the Red 5 network with the Law Be With You podcast show. Welcome to the Law Be With You podcast show, also on Christian Fandom Geek on YouTube. How you doing, everybody? There's a lot of news in Disney Lucasfilm, as there always is within the fandom, and it's an interesting time to be a Star Wars fan. There's been a lot of interesting YouTube channels. Justin Is Lost is one of them, actually, who often reports on a lot of the news coming out of Disney Lucasfilm, and I've caught up on a few of Justin's videos recently, and there is a bit of speculation whether Kathleen Kennedy, our good friend Kathleen Kennedy, is leaving Disney Lucasfilm now. Justin's kind of, I think, come on the side of really saying that he doesn't feel Kathleen Kennedy is leaving Lucasfilm, whereas there have been some of the fandom who don't like Kathleen that are constantly reporting that she might be leaving. Now, whether Kathleen Kennedy is leaving or not, I don't think the problems in Lucasfilm would just go away just like that. So say if for the more traditional fans, Kathleen Kennedy, you know, is like, okay, you know what, I've had enough. I'm leaving Disney Lucasfilm. You know, Geeks and Gamers and, you know, kind of, and all these guys and RK Outpost and that Star Wars girl have said some mean things to me, and I've just had enough of it right now. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers has said some very mean words to me, and I'm done. I'm done with it. So Kathleen's like, forget it, I'm out. Had enough. I don't think that suddenly everything would be amazing with Lucasfilm from the point of view, if you're a more conservative fan or traditional fan, if you're not into the sort of woke liberal sort of themes that are coming through Disney Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy leaving won't just sort of alleviate that, and suddenly it's like, oh, there you are, you've got your Star Wars back. I think it's a bit more complicated than that. Kathleen's obviously got a team involved at Disney Lucasfilm that are sharing the same values that she espouses, and so you've got Pablo Hidalgo and there's others there who are really much on the same track. Even some of the guys on the New Republic stuff with Justina Ireland, I think it is, and a few of the other ones that are going to really be having the same sort of political affiliation, the same sort of views, the same sort of opinions as well. Now, if you're a Star Wars fan, and on the Law Be With You podcast show, we love Star Wars. The collaborators on this show are, and myself, are Star Wars fans. And, you know, if you look through Christian Fandom Geek on YouTube, you'll see that a lot of the episodes are on the show are Star Wars episodes. There's also a lot of Lord of the Rings content as well. And there is other things as well. We do try and kind of have a bit of variety. They say variety is the spice of life. But the main staples of the show are Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And we talk about the archetypes, and we talk about looking at these great stories from a Christian point of view, and also looking into the hero's journey and the Jungian archetypes that are in these great stories. But you know, really looking at these things, deconstructing what's going on within fandom is one of them, is also a key theme of the Law Be With You podcast show. And I really love to be able to deconstruct what's going on in fandom. I talked to some of the guys with Red 5 and whatnot, and you know, same theme. You know, we all love these stories. We grew up on these stories. We grew up on these heroes' journeys. We grew up on, you know, a universe far, far away. And you know, whether you want to call it you know, a space opera, whether you want to call it a space western. I personally call Star Wars a space western. I think that Star Wars is a western set in space. And if you look at Tatooine and you look at sort of the imagery of Star Wars and the, you know, it feels like the Wild West frontier, the old style ships and clothing and the dust and the, let's not talk about dust and things like that with Anakin, with our friend Anakin Skywalker, because he does not like those sort of environments. He does not like Tatooine at all, but we won't go there. But yeah, it kind of that rustic feel to it, and so I think of it as a sort of space western. But Star Wars Infinite will say, oh, you know, is a great channel on YouTube. He'll say, oh no, it's a space opera, you know. And some people and some guys will say, no, it's a kind of it's kind of science fiction, and others will say, it's science fantasy. So, and Luke Saul, who's a collaborator who's on a lot of the Lord of the Rings episodes, he will definitely say it's not science fiction at all. Do not put Star Wars, do not classify it as science fiction. But with Kathleen Kennedy and with what's going on at Lucasfilm is obviously quite woke these days, and it is whether you're gonna give Disney Lucasfilm the benefit of the doubt. It's whether you're going to give Kathleen Kennedy the benefit of the doubt. Are you just going to say it's liberal, but it's about inclusion, it's about diversity, and that's what we should all be aiming for? Because, you know, we should all be looking at diversity. We should all be wanting stories to be diverse, stories to reflect the culture around us in a positive way. We should all want that. But then it goes to on the far end of the extreme, the question is, do you want identity politics in your story? When you're thinking of escapism, when you're thinking of, you know, stories that will get you away from everyday life and get you and take you to a better place spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. Life can be hard work, you know, life can be mundane. You look at what's going on in the world right now, Afghanistan and other parts of the world, and you think, you look at stories like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and you think, man, we need that escapism sometimes, because the world around us is hard work. You know, the world around us feels like a place that's got so much negativity around it, and so you want to escape to this place where you can get involved and immersed in these positive stories. And yeah, they're stories of good versus evil. They're heroes' journeys. They are. Like, you know, there are, stories with a quest involved and so on. But you know that the hero will win, that good will prevail, that good will overcome the darkness. The light will overcome the darkness. And as a Christian myself, and the Christian values that I espouse, you know, it is about recognizing that there is a spiritual war. There is this sort of, you know, good versus evil paradigm going on. There are these sort of spiritual battles, but ultimately the hope and the faith is that the goodness will win, the light will overcome the darkness, and we will see that instantiated in our world. When that will be we don't know, but we're certainly hoping for that and pushing for that. But we want to be inspired by these stories where we see the fulfillment of good overcoming evil even now. And in stories like Star Wars and other stories and other genres, you do see the battle between good and evil, and you do see good winning and overcoming the darkness. As to wokeness, as to Kathleen Kennedy, it's an interesting story. Will Kathleen stay around? Will she sort of try to ride the storm? You know, I've read recently a bit of information, a bit of news about Jon Favreau on working with Kathleen Kennedy on the Mandalorian season 2 finale. So I'm going to have a little break here for you guys. Go and have a nice drink and come back in a second, and we're back with you soon on the Law Be With You podcast show.